The galactic concord had been at war for centuries. Vast empires clashed across the stars, deploying fleets that blotted out suns and weapons that cracked moons in half. Yet despite all their power, the war dragged endlessly, stalemates, betrayals, shifting alliances. No race had managed a decisive victory. When the plea went out to neutral systems, it was desperation disguised as diplomacy. They needed mercenaries, fresh blood, species not yet consumed by the conflict. Among the dozens who responded, one name appeared almost as an afterthought: humans of Terra. The Concord barely noticed them at first. Earth was a minor world, young in the galactic stage. Their ships were crude compared to plasma cruisers, their weapons still reliant on ballistic principles. In the war councils, many scoffed. "Let them come," one general sneered. "They'll be fodder. Nothing more." They were wrong. The first time humans fought alongside Concord forces was at the siege of Vera 9. The defending fleets had been broken for weeks, and the enemy's war machines were grinding the last bastions of resistance into dust. The Concord commanders ordered the humans to reinforce the failing ground defenses. No one expected them to hold, but hold they did. The humans fought differently. Where other species relied on elaborate formations and rigid adherence to doctrine, the Terrans adapted on the fly. Their infantry dug in with brutal efficiency, turning broken ruins into fortresses overnight. When enemy bombardments came, they didn't scatter, they advanced under fire. Casualties that would have broken another army only seemed to sharpen their focus. Within days, whispers spread across the ranks. The humans weren't just enduring the siege, they were pushing the enemy back. Concord soldiers watched in awe as human squads, outnumbered and outgunned, launched counterstrikes with savage precision. They wielded weapons of their own making. Kinetic rifles that tore through shields, explosives that collapsed armored walkers, tactics so ruthless that enemies fled at the sight of their banners. By the end of the month, Vera 9 was not only defended, it was reclaimed. And the galaxy began to understand the truth. At the next council, a Kelth warlord slammed his claws against the table. "These humans," he hissed, "they are not soldiers. They are predators." It was not an insult. It was recognition. From then on, every battle that saw human involvement ended the same way: swift, brutal, decisive. They did not fight for honor or for politics or even survival. They fought to win. Their history was one of endless conflict, of nations warring with one another until only the strongest strategies endured. Where other species hesitated to sacrifice, humans calculated risk with cold precision and still charged forward. But the true terror came not from their weapons or tactics, came from their resolve. At the Battle of Korath Prime, the enemy unleashed a weapon designed to shatter morale. A planetary disintegrator that consumed entire cities in a single beam. Concord troops broke instantly, fleeing in chaos. The humans, however, didn't retreat. Their commander, Captain Elias Ward, simply said over the comms, "Then we fight in the ashes." And they did. For 3 days, as entire continents burned, the human regiments pushed deeper into enemy lines. When reinforcements finally arrived, they found the enemy fleet in ruins, their soldiers routed, their weapons silenced. The humans had destroyed it by boarding the colossal machine and detonating its own core from the inside, losing thousands of their own in the process. After that, the warning began to spread across the stars. Alien strategists whispered it in their war rooms. Commanders repeated it to their subordinates. Even enemies, bitter and broken, passed the lesson on: never involve humans in your wars. Because once humans were unleashed, wars ended. And not in negotiation, not in compromise, only in absolute victory. In the final years of the Concord War, both sides learned this the hard way. Worlds that had battled for centuries suddenly fell in weeks once the humans arrived. Whole fleets surrendered rather than face Terran boarding actions. In the end, it was not the ancient empires or the mighty armadas that decided the fate of the galaxy. It was the species once dismissed as primitive. When the war finally ended, the humans did not gloat. They simply returned to their world, their ships scarred and their soldiers weary. They hadn't fought for conquest only because they were asked. And so the warning remained: etched into the annals of galactic history. If you value survival, do not call upon the humans. For if you do, your war will end, but so will everything you thought you understood about power.